But he posted a picture on Twitter with Sean Dean. He's got his cast and it says justice on it. And then somebody says Hook is some fucking girl says on Twitter, Hook is what? Stokely, I hate your ball ass so much. And then Big Stoke on Twitter goes, wow, Hook will pay for his crimes. It was confirmed that there was a forearm fracture which required a cast. I am distraught. I rolled dice with my left hand, so I'm please don't make me sue this company, Tony Khan. Please, you know that a portrait of your father that's hanging in your office? Well, once I own this company, I'm replacing it with a big-ass photo of James Brown. Yep. Every time you see the Godfather of Soul sweating in drug-fueled rage at the Apollo, you're gonna think of me. Sounds pretty miserable, bro. Do the right thing. Punish this little bastard Hook and write me a fat check. By the way, here's a photo of me with my best friend Al Sharpton. It means absolutely nothing, by the way. Blushing face. But somebody tweeted, he tweeted, Hook is a piece of shit, and then somebody tweeted this. Some woman, I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every I dated a 5'8" guy who taunt every jacked. 6'3" bro he met until they pulled their first back to beat him up. Whereupon my ex would go, hey, come on. I'm a little guy. I'm just a little guy. No, it's just also my birthday. I'm a birthday boy. It somehow always worked. And then Stokely just quote tweets it. F you. Tony Brown, but who the f***'s in the background? It's Hook. It's fucking Hook. And then he's getting twerked on by some fucking broad. My t-shirt money is now in the ass crack of some fucking stripper. So thanks, Hook. But I don't but Jesus Christ, this is the greatest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Clip it.
Oh,
but
actually,
hey, it worked out in the long run.
I actually do hope they make another season, actually, because I would love to see the American Dragon on Total Bellas start memeing on John Laurinaitis. You have live footage of John Laurinaitis in his living room calling somebody in his underwear saying, "Hey, bud, you fired."
What did Max Caster say about me?
Like I'm embarrassed the fact that I'm hosting a post show for this crap.
I'm proud of you, Carl. I love this.
We did our Valentine's Day post of Hooked on You, but it was mainly for Jamie Hayter and only Jamie Hayter.
It's not right. It's not right. This is fucking trying to build an account and we get this bullshit on the account. Great. But
also follow a simp account.
Okay, but here's the thing, because those people, this is networking. This is
we actually
networking.
follow.
You got
it was a business decision.
It's a business. You have to follow these people. This is like following. If you want a Stan account, you got to follow the other Stans. And when you get big, you get rid of them. You get rid of them after that. It's over with.
I open up our Instagram and the first thing I see is Pro Wrestling Simp, and I'm like, what is this?
I don't look at that. I don't
It's
look
a
at that
business
stuff.
decision.
It's a business decision because that guy promotes us, and then when we don't need him anymore, we toss him aside. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, we got go so fucking slap it on a t-shirt and continue to use the move forehead.
Unprettier.
This guy just say fucking forehead.
Switch.
What?
This guy say forehead.
You
Yes, I
did.
did.
You think I fucking wouldn't catch that? You think nobody on this program would catch that? But I did. For weird.
You almost didn't.
For weird.
Let's be honest, you almost didn't.
Weird champ. Weird champ. This is what we resort to here.
On Discord's already been on. Great, don't have to worry about that. It's Wednesday, guys. You know what that means. It is time for your weekly dose of the Pro Wrestling Injection right here on the Pro Wrestling Injection YouTube and Twitch. As always, I'm here joined by my illustrious panel of co-hosts. We have Mr. Marathon himself, Mike, back from his little vacation from Sunday, and down below, we have the goon himself, Christian. Thank God, no news. So yeah, let's just dive on into everything. I took no fucking notes of whatever happened in order because my Sling TV app was fucking up. And my boy Yash is in the chat. How's it going, my friend? All right. So, Mike, you are the note taker. You will keep us in check for the most part.
Will do, sir.
So,
okay, so we started off with a mini Continental Classic rundown where they basically gave us the rules of It's going to be a round robin tournament with a win being 3 points, a draw being 1 point, a loss being 0 points. All matches have a 20-minute time limit, and they did in fact say that the winner of the tournament, after Eddie Kingston's promo from, I believe, Full Gear,
Yes.
the winner of the tournament will receive both the Continental Classic moniker title, the Ring of Honor World Championship, and the New Japan Strong Championship, which
Yes.
is pretty cool.
Which I do want to elaborate on this because I saw a lot of people confused about this. So number one, there is going to be a new Continental Championship. It's going to be similar to the Owen Championship. However, the Continental Championship will be defended. New Japan Strong, Ring of Honor, AEW. Whoever is the Continental Champion by next year's Continental Classic receives an automatic buy into the tournament. So whoever is holding that title,
I like that.
will be automatically placed in the tournament. The reason they're calling it a Triple Crown is because they're basing this off All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah. So they are the two most infamous promotions with Triple Crown titles. But
fuck just happened?
I think his internet literally just died mid-sentence. Okay, let me just switch over to the two-person thing real quick.
Oh my god, this is giving me flashbacks to Chirp and Chat with Ryan on Monday.
Yeah, but see, this doesn't happen on Discord too much. Oh, and he's back.
My
he's
goodness.
back.
Yeah, my shit just fucking blacked out on me. I thought Jack Perry showed up. Anyway, but what I was saying was
never a dull moment here.
The Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan, they're the two most famous companies that proceed with Triple Crown titles. And Noah, it's a little bit different because it's kind of like company wide. So like, say for example, Satoshi Kojima is a Triple Crown champion in Pro Wrestling Noah. He's been the GHC champion, he's been the IWGP heavyweight champion, and he's been the All Japan heavyweight champion. So that's their Triple Crown. But in All Japan, the Triple Crown is all of All Japan's titles. So, and obviously Tony Khan's a fan of Japanese wrestling, and that's where it's kind of based off of. So basically the winner will be getting a Continental Championship that they can defend. They will be getting the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship. This has been cleared with New Japan. They even put a press release about it on the New Japan website. And they will be getting the Ring of Honor World Championship. What this means for Final Battle, I don't know, because the tournament's not going to be done with by Final Battle. My thing is, I think they might do Kingston and Danielson in the main event of Final Battle as a league match. Just so they could have that's a worthy main event. But that's what they'll be getting. Other things about this, if you go on the AEW website, they actually have a full page for the Continental Championship with everybody's record, everybody's the league standings, and they have like a live league page with the rules, everything, their records, the map of the matches. But yeah, we have two leagues. We have the Gold League and the Blue League. We have Jay White, John Moxley, Swerve Strickland, Jay White, Mark Briscoe, and Roosh in the Gold League. We have Andrade, Brody King, Bryan Danielson, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, and Eddie Kingston in the Gold League, and in the Blue League. And these matches will be taking place in the course of 5 weeks up until the finals in Orlando, Florida, of block action or league action. So I assume it's going to be the winner of the Gold League versus the runner-up of the Blue League, and the winner of the Blue League versus the runner-up of the Gold League, or they could just do the top 2 point scorers in the Gold League versus each other, and then the top 2 point scorers in the Gold League, and then the top 2 point scorers in the Blue League, and whoever wins that match goes to the finals at World's End in Nassau Coliseum. So that's the rundown on the Continental Classic. This is very exciting. This is my favorite thing AEW's done in a while. I love the G1. The G1 is my favorite thing in wrestling, and this is kind of like a mini version of it. And in my opinion, since this is the first one where you're gonna work out all the kinks. It's obviously not gonna be the greatest thing ever yet, but I could see this being very expansive. So if this really does hit the mark, I could see next year them expanding to 10, just like the regular. Well, the G1's not like this anymore, but the G1 used to be 2 blocks of 10, so 20 guys. So I could see that easily happening here. But we'll see. And I'm very excited. I guess quick predictions, because I usually do this with the G1, is who I think, like, offhand, without seeing any of the matches. Obviously, we saw some matches, but my pick still stands. My ballpark prediction for the finals is I believe that Bryan Danielson will be in the finals. I think it's between Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston for the Blue League. And for the Gold League, I believe it's between Jay White and Swerve Strickland. But I think we're headed for I believe we're headed for a Bryan Danielson, Jay White final. That match has never happened before. Bryan is obviously the favorite in the tournament. Jay just came off of a world title loss. People think he's buried. He's not. He's going to be fine. And that's one thing about Jay White and Will Ospreay to an extent was the most shocking thing that of their entire New Japan careers that both of them never won a G1. Kenny Omega is still the only foreigner ever that has ever won a G1. And the fact that Jay and Ospreay didn't is still very shocking. Obviously, if those two re-signed, odds are they probably would have won a G1. But both of them have come very, very close before. And Jay in particularly, I do want to speak on this. Jay has never really started out hot in any G1 he's ever been in. Most of the G1s he loses out first and then he wins in the end, and he's usually there in the end. So I could see them doing something like that, even though he won tonight. But we'll see where this goes. But I like the lineup. I think it's perfect how they structured this thing. So just first talking about the Gold League, Jay White, Jon Moxley, Swerve are obviously your heavy hitters in this block here. The Blue League, obviously, you have Bryan, Kingston, and probably arguably Claudio as your heavy hitters in the Blue League. But the other three guys are no slouches at all. You have Mark Briscoe, Jay Lethal, and Roosh in the Gold League, which I think what I feel when the G1 blocks come out in New Japan, you obviously always need those guys who are not gonna end up in a pay-per-view main event or have a title run anytime soon, but you're gonna need a guy like Mark Briscoe or Jay Lethal or Daniel Garcia or Brody King, which I really like the Brody King edition because you got a big horse in there. Those are the guys you need to beat a Bryan Danielson. Those are the guys you need to beat a Jay White, a Swerve, and Moxley, a Kingston, because that's gonna get these guys over even more than they already are. The biggest benefactor in each of the blocks for me is Mark Briscoe and Daniel Garcia, and even Brody King a little bit, because those guys, I loved when Garcia was added when I watched the press conference today, because the first when I was thinking of who was going to be in this tournament, I don't know why, but my brain always was thinking of Garcia for some reason. It was very weird. I was just I just had a feeling that Garcia was going to end up in the tournament. And he is the clear-cut underdog in this entire thing. He's going to have to wrestle Bryan again. He's going to have to wrestle Andrade again. He's going to have to wrestle Claudio on Collision. This guy is outmatched in every single match he has, but it's going to get him over because he's going to get one. Mm-hmm. He's going to get one of these guys. And that's what happens in the G1. Shane Haste had no right beating Tetsuya Naito in the G1 this year, but he did because it needs to happen. You need stuff like that to make a compelling round robin tournament. Guys are gonna slip up. If you watch the NFL playoffs, sometimes the best team coming in doesn't win the Super Bowl. Sometimes they don't get to the AFC Championship. That's what happens. Sometimes the sleeper pick wins. That's how it happens. It gets more realistic, and that's what makes it more fun. So I'm very excited for this. This is going to be a great a few weeks of television because every match that these men have means something. It's not just, this is a random match, which this is a great matchup, but it's a random match. But every time these guys step in the ring for a league match, it's special and it's going to mean something because they're fighting for something. So Very excited for this tournament.
Like, one thing though with the tournament, I do kind of wish, outside of them getting the Continental title, like, well, the moniker of it, I kind of wish this thing like allowed them at least a #1 contender shot at the world title. I think that would have been a fun added stipulation to it.
That's my thing. I don't think this Triple Crown is gonna last past this year.
Yeah, I think probably next year is going to be.
I think because obviously they're in cahoots with New Japan on this and New Japan Strong. I don't think New Japan's going to sign off to sell their belt away for every year.
I think. Sorry to cut you off. Just
no
I
problem.
want to. So I think like at least like if not the world title, a title of that person's choosing. Sure, like it'd be dumb. Oh, well, why doesn't that person go for the world title?
Or they could just do what they do at New Japan. You get a briefcase, kind of like Money in the Bank. You don't cash it in. You don't cash it in, but you have an automatic title match in the main event of Wrestle Kingdom. But you have to defend it. You have to defend the briefcase. You have so. All right, if you don't know how the G1 winnings work, so you get a custom briefcase. Whoever.
At least back in the day, you did.
No, you still get one now.
All right. I didn't really need to see that too much last year.
Naito this year said, "Fuck this, I don't want." He got a tote bag. So yeah. And Okada the year before, he said, "I want the old championship back." So we haven't had really a briefcase in 2 years. But anyway, so basically. You win the G1, you get a briefcase, you have the right to the main event of Wrestle Kingdom in an IWGP Championship title match. You have to defend that against everybody that beat you in the G1. So Naito, this year, was beaten by, I can't really say offhand, he was beaten by Shane Haste, he was beaten by Jeff Cobb, I forgot who else he was beaten by, but he had to defend his thing. Shane Haste ain't main event in no Wrestle Kingdom, but still he had to defend his right against against Shane Tetsuya Naito. Tetsuya Naito had to defend it against Shane Hayes. He had to defend it against Jeff Cobb. So you get pay-per-view matches up until that. Next time, if they expand the Continental Classic or they add even more heavy hitters, like next year you have a potential Continental Classic with Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Konosuke Takeshita, Jay White, Swerve, Hangman. There's a bunch of guys that are not in this tournament that they're gonna have access to next year who aren't doing anything or in storylines, because then they could plan for who's gonna be in this tournament.
Oh,
so you
fuck
can, so
me, bro.
So you can have a tournament next year with fucking Kenny, Takeshita, Ospreay, Jay White, Swerve, MJF, Malachi, Penta, Kota Ibushi. You can have a tournament like that, and then you could put the stakes on the line saying, hey, these are 12 pay-per-view main eventers. Whoever wins this gets a guaranteed title match at All In Wembley in the main event. I could see that happening next year. Maybe Will Ospreay. That's how Will Ospreay gets his title match at Wembley, which is guarantee you is probably going to happen. But maybe that's how it goes. But we'll see.
I'm looking forward to. So I'm happy that the finals are at least happening in me and yours backyard, Christian. I'm so happy for that. Hell, I'm happy for the match that we're getting that we'll get into for the second segment of the show. But getting back on track, we kick off tonight's show with the first round of the Continental Classic for the gold block. I'm gonna call it the blocks because that's what I'm used to for the G1. So we have the gold block, which consists of I'm gonna call it blocks because I'm used to it. All right, fuck you, Dino.
Get used to league.
Suck my dick from the back.
Well, the funny thing is, in Japanese, they actually call the blocks league matches. Like it's actually called the league in Japan.
I'm gonna fucking just. But no, but if I slip up, just let me call it blocks because first time tournaments like this, you kind of get used to.
Okay, Cesaro.
Suck my dick from the back.
Dear Lord. Anyway, so we kick off the night with Swerve versus Jay Lethal in what was a pretty damn good opener.
This was excellent match here between Swerve and Jay Lethal. To my knowledge, I don't think this has ever happened before.
No. I think
Jay Lethal and Swerve.
A lot of these matches are going to be first time matches
Yeah.
from what I've heard.
Yeah. So as far as I know, this is the first time these two have ever went to bat, and they were great. And that's one part of the Continental Classic I love. There is no outside interference, and there's no people at ringside tolerated. I
That's
think
because
brilliant.
like Tony Khan watched way too much of the G1 and saw what Gato was doing the entire time.
Well, no. He watched the G1 and he fucking watched Eddie Kingston wrestle Evil, and Eddie Kingston was a fucking 5-on-1. Yeah.
No, well,
But,
he also saw what Jay White used to get into.
Well, Jay was fairly clean in his G1 matches. Gato would never really help him that often. Gato would like try to help, then he would get punched off, and then Jay would usually just have to win the match on his own. He's not like Evil, who has to fucking cause a terroristic fucking attack to win a damn match. But anyway, these two had a great match. Swerve, how he's even wrestling right now is beyond me.
So that's what I'll get to. I want to correct myself from Saturday into Sunday night. So I had said that like a lot. I thought the staple gun had ran out of staples towards a lot of the excessive spots. Nope, that motherfucker still had staples in it.
Yeah, he did.
Quick. Let me give my thoughts on that real quick, since I just watched it earlier today, Full Gear, because my weekend got screwed up a little bit. Swerve and Hangman stole the show yet again. Good overall pay-per-view, and congrats to Julia Hart in a title win I didn't see coming. And I said I'll keep it short, so I'll do just that.
Here we go. But anyway, but yeah, so this match was great. Swerve and Hangman, looks like they're going to be done for the time being, which I'm actually thinking about it because I thought they were going to do another match, but thinking about it, what the fuck can they do?
What?
They can't do anything. I'm so glad they're off of Swerve and Hangman now. They can't possibly do anything else after that match. What are you going to top that match? No.
That
you
is
can't do
physically
it.
impossible to top that match.
You can't
Who
do
won the
Swerve.
predictions title? Was it you, Christian?
You had it by 1 point. I could have stole it, but all because you predicted the devil not appearing, you got it by 1 point.
Want to know the sad part? I originally, like I said in the chat on Saturday afternoon, right before you guys did the pre-show, it was before I had watched Rampage and Collision. Had I watched it at that point, I would have predicted Claudio over Buddy, but that's not what happened. But I'm champion again.
Yeah, you had it by 1 point.
Claudio
I
beat
could have
Buddy.
had it. So
Claudio
I
beat
could have
Buddy.
had it. What was that?
Claudio beat Buddy.
Yeah, but no,
Yeah, I know.
No, but
Oh.
he predicted Buddy to win.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, before I watched Collision.
Oh, yeah.
So I could have had it.
I knew I was dead wrong as soon as I watched the match.
Because I picked the under. I picked the under 5 minutes for the blood in Hangman and Swerve because that happened at like 4:50. Blood started happening. So I had it, but then you had the No Devil, and I was like, okay, fuck me.
Yep.
Once
But
again,
anyway, this
Pro Wrestling
match,
Injection predictions champion, Mr. Marathon.
yep, this match was great. Swerve, I'm glad he's off. Listen, Swerve was given given so much praise coming out of that pay-per-view. He was the talk of the town. He is so very much over now. You could hear it in the crowd, the Who's House chants. They were all behind Swerve in this match, even though he's a heel. That match did wonders for Swerve. And I said, Swerve has had a breakout year, even though he's already been great. Next year, get ready. That's going to be the year of Swerve Strickland. That's going to be an unbelievable year next year for him. I can't wait because that's when he's really going to start getting his opportunities when everything's going to start to go. But anyway,
one last thought on the pay-per-view. His entrance, I absolutely loved it.
absolutely excellent.
Perfect. Entrance of the year almost.
Almost. It's up there, but it ain't no fucking Kenny Omega Sephiroth entrance.
It ain't.
Anyway, we had Swerve Strickland. He ended up defeating Jay Lethal with the Swerve Stomp. Great paced match. They were working the arm, they were working the leg. Great stuff here. No outside interference. Swerve won with the Swerve Stomp. He claims 3 points. He had the first 3 points in the Gold League. Jay Lethal has 0. So that was the first Continental Classic match, and it was great. Next up in the backstage, we had Katsuyori Shibata, Hook, and Orange Cassidy. Tell that to somebody 3 years ago. Fucking why Orange Cassidy is with Shibata and who's Hook? That's what people would have said. But anyway,
he's the guy with his T-shirt money in the ass crack of a stripper.
Yeah.
I remember. That was a phenomenal joke.
That happened almost like 2 years ago today. You know that, right?
No, that was January, because that happened in January.
I could have sworn.
I happened in January because I remember Antonio Brown went crazy, and then fucking he was caught in the strip club, and then that's how
I partially go off by the background of my streams on if it's a cluttered mess from packing or unpacking.
It was January.
Yeah, but still, almost fucking 2 years ago.
Yeah, that and so Orange had an announcement, got interrupted by Wheeler Yuta. He started jaw jacking at all of them, and he was talking shit to Shibata. They're basically setting up Shibata versus Yuta, probably for Final Battle, here for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, because he's got a match against Wheeler does against Lee Moriarty on Ring of Honor for the I think it's a number 1 contendership for the Pure title. So that's probably going to happen at Final Battle. So they're just building up to that. After this, we had Maxwell, Jacob Friedman, and MJF, all Better Than You, Baby. First time we heard this entrance theme in a bit. We had the Walking Wounded come out here. We had fucking Adam Cole on crutches with the boot on. We had MJF with a cane because he had to get his hip popped back into place after the elbow drop spot.
So those tears were real then during the media scrum.
Bro,
I felt my hip really bad. It hurt.
I need to watch that soon.
It was so funny because during his first few bits of wording, they still had the starting soon music playing. So it's him just bawling over this soft rock beat playing in the background. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it was funny. Just a quick note to come out of that scrum I just wanted to mention. That's off topic, is that Tony did reference Mercedes Moné. He was asked about her, and he said he would love to bring her in, and he thinks very highly of her because obviously a lot of people thought that was going to be the signing over Ospreay, but it wasn't. And I do still believe she'll probably come in if that's for a match or whatever, but we'll see. And the other thing I just wanted to mention from that scrum is the Ospreay stuff with the contract. He said it was the best thing for him and his family. He's not going to have to move back. He's not going to have to move to America. He will be finishing out his dates in New Japan because he obviously holds them to. He will be working a select few dates a year for them, obviously with the agreement with AEW. And he's very happy to be here. And the deal is most likely a 3-year deal, which is standard for an AEW contract. So,
do you want to know what would be a crazy way to debut Mercedes Moné? At World's End, but have her say if Saraya has a match, have her interfere there, because that's the same arena, air quotes, where the characters for WWE, Sasha Banks, injured Paige and put her back on the shelf for an extended period of time. That would be that would be pretty interesting to do that, just to have her do a run down there.
That would make sense. Yeah, that would make sense. And also, I do want to point this out. I believe World's End, which I do know it's after, but I don't know the day. I think it's 2 days, 2 or 3 days, or something. I think so. Where the WWE releases contract non-competes run out.
Yes.
So by World's End. I'm not saying I really don't
shove the whole lot back out there. No,
I really don't. I'm not talking. We're not going and diving deep into the devil stuff, but I really don't think Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth is the devil or Mustafa Ali. But I do expect Dolph in AEW.
I
mean,
think-
Ryan's there. I mean, why not?
So
Guy's talented.
So since we're talking about the MJF Adam Cole segment, so they're just talking about the about his win against the Guns and Jay White. He had mentioned that Jay White, he believes now and understands that Jay White is one of the best pro wrestlers.
That was a response to all the fucking geeks saying, "Oh my God, Jay's buried. He's never gonna recover. They ruined him. Oh my God, the sky is falling." Which is not. He's gonna be fine. This is the exact same shit that happened to him in New Japan multiple times.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Yes, he
And,
did win the title twice there, but multiple times this happened to Jay White.
So, like he then gets into the devil stuff, saying, "I will find out who's underneath my mask." And then the lights go out. Devil appears on the Tron. Frost appears on our screen. I am now 100, about 99.9% convinced it is now Jack Perry. That laugh.
Yeah, you could tell by the laugh.
That's what I'm. He was.
I
listened to me 2 weeks ago. I'm telling you.
I have a 1% of doubt, but I am now 99.9%
I
convinced.
told you, bro.
These
Are you
4 goons better not be nobodies.
I told you, yo. I told you this motherfucker was Jack Perry, bro. I told you. I'm standing on business.
Oh, hey, no, like,
standing
hey,
on-
I'm not.
stand
I'm
on
just saying,
business.
I'm now convinced it's gonna be Jack Perry because that laugh. Someone's gonna find a way to undistort it and then post it onto social media. So that will probably be another fun thing to look at later.
Standing on business.
Hey, no, but I'm convinced now it's Jack Perry, and I can't wait for that because, this also led into a very interesting way to transition into Samoa Joe coming out, as if it was just perfectly placed.
Yeah, I will say this about Adam Cole and the Devil. Adam Cole's odds went up a little bit after the pay-per-view, just due to some of his actions at the pay-per-view, even though they were kind of good during the match and stuff like that. But I don't believe it was the paper. People thought, "Oh my God, he's the devil" because of what he did at the pay-per-view. I think he didn't do anything. I think people were thinking into it too much at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But Adam Cole,
Hey,
it just
he could
went
have
up.
been a little bit quicker with the ring. Just saying.
Yeah, that it's like, why would he sacrifice himself with one leg to go fight Jay White? But I like with how he yelled at Roddy, which we'll talk about later.
Christian, part of me says this stuff just to see what your reaction is going to be.
Well, hey, you weren't you weren't convinced with my reaction. Well, with my take on it on Saturday, but there's some slight, that's what I said. I'm 99.9% on Jack Perry. Then I have the 0.1% on anyone else that has been pushed around besides the fuckwad CM Punk.
Jack, I mean,
Jack is a possibility.
Yeah, we'll talk about him.
Hey,
that's who I believe.
What happens if it's
Adam,
Jack Perry and the Kingdom as the goons?
Well, I will say this, Adam. The reason for Adam, the only reason I think it's completely finished. It went up a little bit, but then it kind of plummeted.
Mm.
The only reason I think it's completely finished is because this guy is not going to be able to get physical in a long time.
Yes.
Long time. It's probably longer than you even expect. And this might be a year injury.
So, Christian,
I don't think
so.
Here's my soft
when was it
prediction.
reported that he actually got the surgery?
Well, remember, he had
On his
double
ankle.
surgery. He had double
Yeah, it was
surgery.
2 surgery.
When was the second one? Or when was it?
Recently. I think it was relatively
last
recently.
month.
Yeah.
Last month.
But so Christian, here's now my harebrained idea. You keep with Jack Perry as the devil. Who are the goons? Maybe the Kingdom plus one other person.
I completely out on the Kingdom.
I'm not fully out on the Kingdom being the goons.
Because
you could
the reasoning from you with the Kingdom is why if they want to attack him, why they could literally just go do it.
Yeah, but
they don't want to make it obvious.
Yeah, but as me and Mike had brought up in the past, false sense of security. You could have the Kingdom plus one other person. Maybe it's Nick Nemeth. Maybe it's Mustafa Ali. for those two. Even though the people under the mask can't be who they are. One person can't be who they are because of contract stuff, but it's a possibility.
Jack, obviously, most likely is the devil.
Yes, the
And he would be
goons.
he would be the leader.
I'm gonna push the narrative of
They better
the
not
kingdom
screw this whole
possibly
thing
being
up.
the goons.
I'm not doing that because I think
Well,
the
if
kingdom,
they're just hired goons and they're not gonna
yeah,
be
yeah,
like.
I don't because then you're breaking up the kingdom and Roddy and
Well, no, they're just hired goons and they're not gonna have any more
Yeah, but-
involvement than what they have.
yeah, I don't like that because if
I understand that, but
if you
don't
want to
roll
go
it
with
out.
the kingdom, if you want to go the kingdom, go full on with it. You don't have to. I mean, they're so goofy that now they're attacking and we're gonna have to take them seriously when they get unmasked.
They're gonna
This
lead
guy's
us saying,
fucking
well,
this guy's-
now
this
they're
guy's
leading
walking
us
around-
into a false
This
sense of
guy's
security.
walking around with a fucking giraffe. Yeah, but it doesn't matter if
Next
it's a false
strong,
sense.
baby.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter if it's a false sense of security. These guys are not taken seriously. You have to have people that are taken seriously because you can't. That's a complete 180. If you have these guys get unmasked and it's the kingdom. Oh, what are these two fucking idiots doing here? What are these two doofs doing here? Nobody's gonna take when they rip off the mask. No one's gonna take them seriously. Because where's the giraffe? Where's Next Strong? Wait. People are gonna say, oh my god, it's the kingdom. Oh shit, they're gonna fuck everybody up. No, they're fucking running around with Roddy, fucking around talking about neck health. There's a guy wearing a shirt that says punch him in the wiener. Am I supposed to take these guys seriously as henchmen for the devil? No.
Can I just bring up that Roddy got a huge pop on either Rampage or Collision when he got out of the wheelchair? Huge.
When it comes to the henchmen, there's not a lot of people that I see as obvious. That's the one thing I'm completely stumped with is the henchmen. And like I could see it being like a Nick Nemeth being a part of it.
To at least give him some credibility.
Yeah, but like when I think about it, it might end up being like a mosh posh of people. Like maybe like I'm looking at like the Ross. I'm like what like fucking like. There's some names that I think could be cool in this type of role, like a Griff Garrison or a Stu Grayson, something like that. Like that can maybe make that work. But I just don't know. When it comes to the henchmen, but we'll see. But anyway, back to
You just brought an interesting thought into my head about that.
Shoot, so we get back on track after that.
So what if it is guys like Stu Grayson and like Lee Moriarty, because things have not exactly gone as planned with them, because Stu joined the Dark Order or signed
again,
finally like signed again, and then immediately got thrown like basically out of the Dark Order into a storyline with the Righteous. Lee Moriarty,
he was
the
a part of
firm
the
was supposed to.
He was a part of the Righteous.
Okay, see, I wasn't watching.
Is he even
Clarifying.
still with the Righteous?
He was in the group. They did the match at the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view, and then they took him out when they put Vincent and Dutch on AEW to start the MJF feud.
Okay.
Lee Moriarty, the entire firm was supposed to be built around him. Things didn't go as planned.
I would say the last
I'm
match
just saying, like there could be
the last match
a
Stu
backstory
had
there.
was that the last match Stu Grayson had was at Forbidden Door with El Phantasmo, and he came out to the Righteous' music. That was the last time we saw him. As Mike just said with Lee Moriarty, he's doing that shit with Shane Taylor right now. So, and he's got a Pure Rules match against Yuta on Ring of Honor. So, that's
well, it doesn't need to necessarily be somebody.
Are there any like
fully
guys that
entrenched in a storyline?
well, I will say
also
this: the attackers were all looked to be a Caucasian.
Yes.
So if you're not Caucasian, then
I could have sworn one guy was
leave.
black.
Listen, somebody posted a Vince McMahon soundbite when he was looking for his illegitimate son. If you're not Caucasian, leave. That shit was so funny.
But the thing is though, like, you also have to go back to the reporting of everyone who's been involved in the segments under the mask is currently under contract as well. So, like, we do have to slightly rule out the ideas of a Mustafa Ali and a Nick Nemeth.
Nick Nemeth, yeah.
So that's like the unfortunate. We have to rule that out. But back on track. So Samoa Joe comes out, and he's looking for his rematch. And MJF goes, "I've been thinking about it, and blow me." Even though it was blurred, it was bleeped out for some I think it's because it was 8:30, and they had a very soft limit on when they could kind of curse.
Adam Cole then chastises MJF. He told him to be a man of his word. That's the old MJF. Now you got to be the new MJF and make good on your promise. And then MJF said he did. This match is going to be taking place at World's End in the main event.
MJF,
very happy
Joe too.
Obviously, I thought it was maybe a little that they weren't going to do it because New York already got a MJF Samoa Joe match at Grand Slam, but I'm actually very happy this is happening again because that means they have a match with no limitations, pay-per-view match, big spot, and Joe's getting another opportunity in a big spot, and these guys could put together the match they want to do without limitations and without TV time limits.
I think the show for World's End ends with MJF signing his contract for 2024. Air quotes around the signing.
Well, I don't know if that's gonna happen because I think the Devil reveal is gonna be full effect, and I don't think it's gonna be a happy ending at World's End.
Well, how about before the match then? Before the match?
No.
Okay. I'm just trying to because reports have stated that this, we don't talk about the news, but this is quick. MJF talks with WWE have since silenced. And is led to believe
they
that
didn't they didn't have talks at all. There was talks within WWE.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't be able to do that. That would be
contract tampering. But yeah, so there's talks
I still
within.
think he quietly re-signed last
June,
whenever that was.
Absolutely.
So within WWE, talks have died down of MJF signing.
WWE is in full belief that he is re-signed with the company
for up to 2027. So a nice 3-year contract. I think everyone right now is on a 3-year deal who signed for the 2023 season. Or 2024 season.
But anyway, so that we got that confirmed. After this, we had Cool Hand Ange, Daddy Magic, and Jake Hager versus Hook, Orange Cassidy, and Shibata. And as the bell was about to ring, Orange says, "Wait, I had an announcement.
Hold on.
Let me say it before, but I have a Thanksgiving surprise, and here comes Danhausen.
He beat the allegations.
Finally made his return, and that was the Thanksgiving surprise. Danhausen is back. He was in the corner. It was two friends, Orange Cassidy and Hook. That was pretty cool.
Very, very, very nice.
The match was pretty good. A lot of fun match.
Don't forget about the best spot of the night. The purple hat came back.
Yeah, so Dan brought out the purple hat, completely mystified Jake Hager, and Jake was like, "What the fuck?" And then he cursed him. Match ended with Hook and Shibata putting 2.0 in the red rum and a sleeper, and then they swapped them because one of them wasn't the legal man. And then Hook put him in the red rum, and he tapped out. So yeah, it was a fun little match. Good stuff there. Next up, we had Christian Cage.
We had Renee in the back with Adam Cole.
Oh, with Adam Cole, yeah.
That's right.
Adam Cole's in the back. I thought he was about to get jumped by the devil. Just the way, I really thought
the way it was framed.
Yeah, and but anyway, he had the fucking screeches of the hot rod, and he shows up. Roddy shows up at the Kingdom, and he's like, "Dude, where were you from me?" Action Andretti almost dropped me on my neck, which he did.
Scary spot.
But yeah, Adam was like, he fucking yelled at this guy. He's like, "Dude, you're not my best friend anymore." So he basically just lashed into him. He's not his best friend anymore. You need to stop this. Yada yada yada, and then he crutches off, and it was very sad. Roddy was left there. And then,
Roddy
he's just
goes,
like-
he didn't mean
He's
that.
just like, he didn't mean that.
He didn't mean that.
Yep. And then after this, we had the patriarchy of Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus here to cut a promo. And he was talking about how he wants to get this stench of losing off of him. And
Well,
because
he's
we're not
a
losers.
loser, and Nick Wayne's not a loser.
Because Christian Cage didn't lose that match. Nick Wayne did not lose that match. Luchasaurus lost that match. So he makes Luchasaurus get on one knee. And he tells him to take a knee. He begrudgingly does it. And he says, listen, you're going to have to be my closer now. You have to be my killer. You have to be my finisher. So I'm renaming you Kill Switch. So he renames Luchasaurus Kill Switch because he thinks Luchasaurus is a name that is filled with losing. And yeah, so he renames Luchasaurus Kill Switch. So then he turns to Nick Wayne. Nick Wayne gets on a knee. And he's like, never get on your knees for another man.
It's like, come on, man.
So Nick he gets up and then he's like, Nick, you're my golden boy. You're my son. You're my child.
You're my
And
prodigy.
then Nick is smiling. He's blushing. He's stop. But yeah. So Nick was very he was very smitten by what Christian Cage had to say. And Christian Renee dubs him the Prodigy, Nick Wayne, which he was actually called the Prodigy on the Indies. That was also Roxanne Perez's nickname as well. But it makes sense.
Well.
Fits him. Even in his bio on Twitter, he had Prodigy for a bit. He took it out, but
Probably be back in real soon.
yeah, but he used to be he had Prodigy on his tights too. So he could probably just use his old tights again. But then he's coming out. He's hugging Christian Cage. But here comes Shayna, which is Nick Wayne's mother, and Shayna Wayne. She comes out. She's trying to put a stop to this shit. She doesn't like this. Her son is completely brainwashed by Christian Cage. Christian's like, "What are you doing down here?" He's like, "Your son hates you. Your son is embarrassed of you."
Because you were a waitress at Denny's.
You were a waitress. You think your son you think your son is proud of that? No. And then so he's ripping on Nick Wayne's mom.
Nick kept a straight face and all this is great.
Yeah, he goes. You should be glad.
He did almost crack up a bit at one point.
Christian goes. You should be glad your husband's dead. Because I'm a better wrestler than he ever was.
That's when Nick Wayne cracked a little bit of a smile, too, if you notice.
I think that was on purpose.
Yeah.
I was just pointing out. It could be on purpose. It could be like a
that was definitely on purpose. But Christian said he was never good of a wrestler as me. He's like, he basically saying, go away, go back to Denny's where you belong. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Isn't your shift starting soon? Homie,
go punch in.
They're in Chicago. She lives in Seattle. She ain't making that shift.
Nah.
She ain't making that shift.
But anyway,
unless she takes her
he starts yelling at her to get out of the ring. But Luchasaurus steps in between her and Christian Cage. He starts facing Christian Cage. Christian ends up slapping Kill Switch here.
He says, "I will take that mask off and reveal you as the ugly bastard you are."
He can go back to I think his name was Judas Devlin when he was in NXT when he didn't have a mask on. Which, funnily enough, if you look up Luchasaurus without his mask, he looks like Brandon Cutler. I'm not even kidding.
I saw him. He looks more like a buff Seth Rollins, like an insanely buff Seth Rollins.
He looks like what he looks like because he was on Big Brother. Yeah. His name is Austin Madelson. But if he looks like if Brandon Cutler, Seth Rollins, and Juice Robinson had merged into one person.
Had a very hateful love child.
Speaking of Juice Robinson, I just want to mention this. Juice Robinson will be out of action for a very long time. He will be having back surgery. That's why they shot the angle they did with him with MJF in the back to write him off. So get well soon to Juice Robinson.
With a TV.
Yeah, get well soon to Juice Robinson.
But so the thing is too, like, so what was Luchasaurus' name in NXT again? You said.
I believe it was Judas Devlin.
If WWE does not have that trademarked, imagine like he no longer goes by Luchasaurus. He goes by the Kill Switch Judas Devlin. That would be pretty cool.
Let me just see if that's the correct name here.
Yeah, but saying if WWE does not own that.
So here it is. It was Judas Devlin and Judas Draven. He had Judas Devlin, Judas Draven, Austin Draven, Austin Morrison. Killswitch is already on this. Holy shit. Vibora was Lucha Underground, so that's not coming back.
So like what?
Yeah,
so you have So if he
drops WWE and FCW and NXT, he was Judas Devlin.
But yeah, if they don't have that trademarked, he can go by that.
Judas Draven. I don't think they have that.
Don't go by Draven. That is the last name that I use for all my characters in pro wrestling. Do not.
My name, my car back in the day's name already got stolen too. So.
Well, I didn't even know he went by Draven. I use Zach Draven a lot.
Well, I used the Blade when I was little, and then fucking
Baron Blade. Sorry, man.
Baron Blade. It's fucking not Baron Blade. It was just fucking Blade, bro. You kidding me? And then I didn't. Then fucking the Butcher and the Blade.
What is this comment from? Boatstick. AEW Young Bucks need to join with John Moxley.
I did. They signed him.
Fuck. Okay. All right.
Black will come. Yep.
I just noticed these comments because I accidentally had Discord open over it. Chris Leclerc says Sky Blue is 8-0 in Chicago, including AEW and ROH.
Yeah.
Nice.
But so yeah, so if he does drop Luchasaurus, he does have the Kill Switch name that he could throw into it.
I doubt this is gonna last though, this Kill Switch stuff. I think it's just for the angle. But anyway, Christian Cage ends up pushing Luchasaurus into Nick Wayne's mom. She's incapacitated. And then he tells Nick to go get 2 chairs. So it looked like she was gonna give her a concerto. So he sets up the Nick Wayne's mom for the concerto. But as he was gonna make Luchasaurus do it. But as Luchasaurus, he's trying not to do this. He's trying not to do this. Here comes Adam Copeland. He puts a stop to it. He spears Nick Wayne. He fights off Luchasaurus. He's about to fight off Christian, but instead, he gets 2 chairs. You
forgot to mention that Luchasaurus still saves Christian.
Yeah, he did still save Christian. He pulled him out. Nick Wayne's mom is in the corner of the ring, and then Copeland still gives Nick Wayne the concerto right in front of his mother. He didn't even give a shit.
And the educator.
Impaler now. But yeah, he gave it right in front of his mother. He gave him the concerto, and Christian Cage is great in this. He's screaming, "That's my son! That's my child!
My boy!
My boy!" So Christian Cage he's on a different level right now.
Okay, so can we almost but kind of confirm Christian Cage versus Edge for the TNT title at World's End? Can we kind of write that narrative in?
Maybe.
I gotta see
Probably
another week or 2 of TV.
I also just want to. I have never heard Edge's music, Adam's music live, and I kind of want to hear that live for personal bias and personal.
I hear a lot of things live.
Actually, this is true. My first wrestling event was Survivor Series 2011. He had already retired. The first time.
I want to hear a lot of things live.
Yeah, fuck off, man.
I want to hear whatever by My Lady Peace live, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen.
Okay.
I wish I could have heard that. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna quit on my head. Anyway.
Never change, folks. This show is, as I've said in the past. This show does not stink.
That's what Pat McAfee says about it. The show stinks.
No,
that's how you know it's good.
Oh, well, yeah, it does. But hey, at least we still run a weekly show.
Somebody just shit themselves with the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
I know. I saw the TikTok clip of it.
My man Ty, bro, he shit his pants. He sharted.
Like I said, hey, at least we're the only pro wrestling show part of the Sports House that runs weekly. Outside of the Backstage Brawl, we love you guys. but we're the only one that runs weekly and gives a
Jared.
shit about you.
Anyway, what's it called? Next up we had Roosh versus Switchblade Jay White in an excellent and hard-hitting match.
Yeah, after we had Renee in the back with the JAS remnant.
Yeah, they were just
Not
hyping
much
up.
to say.
They were hyping up Anna's match later.
How did Danhausen get
Roosh
my
versus
hat?
Jay White.
Angelo Parker had a fucking old-ass iPhone with the swipe to unlock. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, no,
What
that's
iOS
for
is he using?
that's for like phone calls, isn't it? Isn't it? Don't you still use that for calls?
No, it's the two buttons. It's the green and the red button. Swipe to unlock. That's a thing of the fucking past.
That's very old.
That's old as shit. I'm like, what the fuck has he got?
He
So,
he
yeah.
hasn't updated to iOS 17 yet.
I don't think he's updated
He's
at all.
on like iOS 11.
I think he's on iPhone 8. I think he still got the button on that bitch. But anyway, he probably still got a headphone jack in there.
Lucky
But anyway,
son of a bitch.
yeah, I wish. But anyway, we had Roosh versus Jay White. This was an excellent match. I love the first part where they fucking hit the ropes and Roosh gave him a cup check. That shit was fucking hilarious. And Jay White didn't know what to do. He didn't expect it at all. So he just hit the ropes. but they were beating the shit out of each other. They were chopping each other to death. Hard hitting affair here. I'm so glad Roosh is a part of this tournament, because this is the type of guy you need in this type of tournament. He's hard hitting. He's no fucks given.
Mm-hmm.
Great addition. And this is, I don't think I've seen Roosh and Jay White ever before either.
Nope. A lot of these are first time meetings. I believe that this is what the Continental Classic is being built as. A lot of first time meetings. I think, yeah, because John Moxley, Mark Briscoe, first time meeting. Jay and Roosh, first time meeting. And I believe Swerve and Jay Lethal was a first time meeting as well. In singles competition, at least. I could be wrong, but I believe that's what this is being built as.
Yeah, so this match was great. Excellent stuff, excellent work here from both these guys. Roosh went for the bull's horns. But Jay White was able to pull the referee in. He fucking completely kicked Roosh in the balls. He gave him the Blade Runner and completely stole 3 points. So, but this is tournament Jay White. He's gonna win by any means necessary. So I've seen every single G1 that Jay White has been a part of, because his first G1 was my first G1. So I've seen every single Jay White G1, and when he's in these round robin tournaments, and he's at his best when he's in these type of tournaments.
Just to acknowledge a comment, Bostic had mentioned that Luchasaurus needs to turn on Christian Cage. I think tonight was a bit of a seed planted that something's going to happen down the line.
I mean, it already kind of did happen. Like there was not did happen, but I mean, they tried. I think this was probably going to happen earlier, but then they got Adam. They had word of Adam Copeland coming in, because if you remember that triple threat where fucking Christian won the TNT title off Luchasaurus when he pinned him for it. So I think this probably was going to happen earlier, but they didn't know Copeland was coming in yet. But anyway.
After that, we had the ladder match recap of the tag,
which was an insane ladder match.
It was good, and then that led into showing what happened at the media scrum, and then Ricky and Big Bill attacking Jericho and hurting his arm further.
I love how we get the footage of this brawl, but not Brawl Out. What the fuck, camera guy?
Because there was no cameras rolling for Brawl Out.
It's
like
a
that.
joke,
or
you bastard.
Or Brawlin.
Brawlin didn't fucking...
Brawlin, there is CCTV footage that we will never see the light of day.
Yeah, I don't know about never see.
Unfortunately.
Until someone hacks and gets that footage, we will never see it.
They need to make a documentary about that.
They will.
Dark Side of the Ring, don't you worry. CM Punk's run will be covered in Dark Side.
By the time they get to this, Dark Side's not going to be around anymore.
No, Dark Side's still going to be around. This story is going to be in
Dark Side will not be around. Fucking this story will not be getting covered until everybody involved is probably fucking retired.
Yeah, and Darkseid gets a resurgence for this one last season.
Darkseid, I don't think Darkseid is gonna be around for another fucking 15 years.
It's never say never.
Yeah, well, what are they gonna fucking do for Darkseid of the Ring? What happened to Wardlow's booking?
No, because see, they still have the Saudi plane ride that they can cover, because a lot of the talent that was on there has been released.
I know, but that was such a fucking Mickey Mouse thing. That was just a fucked up thing. That was nothing really bad happened. Nothing bad happened.
Nothing really bad happened, but it's still something that a lot of people want to know the inside.
We do. Go fucking listen to. We do. Go listen to fucking Gallows and Anderson talk about it after they got released the first time. It's called Countdown to Fucktown. That's what the podcast is called. I'm not kidding. I remember listening to this shit. I remember listening to that shit. Holy shit.
But they want to hear other people's sides of it at least.
No, they don't. Because they're not going to say anything because they're fucking employed. And the ones who aren't don't want to burn that bridge.
Some people would want to burn that bridge.
Fucking, all they had to say was all they had to say to know for the public to know anything about it is Randy Orton was left behind so they weren't going to die. That's what Gallows and Anderson said. We're fine. We're fine. They're not going to kill Randy.
Bowstick, my guy, are you stuck in like last week? AEW Young Bucks turn on. Why you gonna call them AEW Young Bucks? The Young Bucks turn on Kenny Omega on in full gear.
I can't say what I want to say.
I know. Don't worry about it.
But anyway,
next up we had my guy.
Next up we had the AEW Women's World Championship presentation.
Celebratory acceptance speech. Is that what they billed it as?
They did this so well.
So RJ and fucking Renee come out. They come in like they're about to announce the winner of the fucking Oscars. And here is like the winner of the AEW Women's World Championship is Toni Storm, Timeless Toni Storm. And then she comes up, she's come out of the crowd like this. She must have forgot she won the title. So
amnesia.
Then she tripped up the ramp.
She comes in, Luther lets her, she did trip up the ramp. Listen, first off, I do want to mention this, that at the media scrum, she sent in a note to Tony Khan while he was at the media scrum, and it was fucking incredible because Tony was fucking corpsing and during the entire thing, and he's had his hands all over this character. And he said there was reports that he's really involved with that character. Mm-hmm. But Toni Storm, she sent in a note, and it was fucking great. And I want to read it off here because it was fantastic. So she goes, so here we go. Here's the note that she sent in. Dearest Anthony, please excuse my absence at your little scrum. I had to board an aeroplane. I am going to Peter Lamford's beach house for the weekend, which I had to look up who Peter Lamford is. Peter Lamford's been dead since the 1980s, apparently. Nevertheless, I am still your new AEW Women's Champion. I expect to be lauded as such this Wednesday on the Turner Broadcasting Station. Give Ted my best. If you must talk about me, do be kind and don't drink so much coffee. Forever timeless, Toni Storm. So
and don't drink so much coffee.
Yeah, so that's what Timeless had Toni Storm had to say.
Speaking of planes, in case you guys weren't aware, I believe Darby Allin is now probably somewhere close to.
Oh yes, I actually want to shed light on this because we actually have a full fucking reason. We actually have a full account of what's happening. So he's going to China to train. He will be climbing in April. He's climbing in April because apparently there is climbing season. So you can't climb right now. So he's going to China to go train to climb, and he's going to do the actual climb in April because that's when climbing season is.
Okay.
So he will be around for Sting's retirement, and he will be around for all that. So that's the rundown on Darby. But anyway, back to Toni. She's fucking. They put a link to PW Inside, Pro Wrestling Illustrated. She was on the cover of it. And she's fucking. She puts on her glasses. Mariah May comes out with the title. to present it to her. And I do want to pay mention to this because I saw this online, and it's a really, really good look from a lot of people who didn't know about this. But apparently what they're going for is based on an actual movie. This whole storyline. So there's this movie called All About Eve, very old movie. I never heard of it until this storyline. But basically, the plot of the movie is that there's a aging movie star actress who is mentoring a younger actress, trying to help her get her start in the business. But the younger actress has an ulterior motive to basically leech off the big actress, gain her spotlight, and then kick her out when she's done with using her. Toni Storm and Mariah May. I think they hit the nail right on the head with that one. And I think this even helped support that theory, because she puts her glass on, she says, I had nothing prepared, but then she takes out an acceptance speech. So she's reading, she's like, this is all to all my fans. I'd like to thank first off Anthony Khan. So they start playing her off. She's like, nope, not finished. And then she's reading, she's like, all the young Toni Storms out there. They show a little girl with glasses on.
Who is not looking at all. It's just,
Nope.
huh?
She's like, I like to thank all the supporting actresses, Hikaru Shida. But you gotta love to me, and and then this is where I think was the most important. She goes, everybody else will never make it. My spot, I will never share my spot. I think she said something to the like, you will not take my spotlight. You will not make it. You'll never be me. So stay in school, do whatever, do something else, because you're never gonna be me or take my spotlight. If you look at Mariah May during this, she is looking at Toni Storm. She is giving her the fucking evil eye. As Tony's saying this, if you look at Mariah, she is giving her like, she's stink eyeing and fucking she's grilling Toni like she just smelled shit. And that is the telltale sign right there. She's gonna use her, because after this she starts clapping again. She is using her, and she's gonna take her spotlight. Because Mariah was looking at her like she was disgusted. She's like, ugh. Like, yeah, so this is exactly where they're going.
Hey, Christian, just check the message that I just sent real quick. You'll probably get a pop out of it.
Message what? Where?
Check the group chat real quick. You'll get a pop out of the shit I just screenshotted. Excuse me.
Well,
Stick. Just don't change, my friend.
ISM-tism.
Keep up the good work, my friend. Hey, I appreciate you being here. Subscribe if you want to, man. We go live every week.
It's wrestling fans for you. Anyway, but yeah, Toni Storm, she accepts her fucking title.
She's my fucking mind.
She's doing all this shit. But here comes Sky Blue in her hometown. They're getting ready for the next match. We had Sky Blue versus Anna Jay versus Ruby Soho. Daddy Magic was out. Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Dan were out there with Anna or so. And then we had Saray out there with Ruby. And this was actually pretty good. Sky is really improved. I think Anna's been better. Ruby's still pretty good. But yeah, this was a pretty good match. Enjoyed this one. I like there was a lot going on in this match in terms of story, because you had Anna wanting Daddy Magic and Angela Parker to focus on her and help her. You had Cool Hand Ange smitten with Ruby Soho. They're like playfully doing shit. You had Sky Blue just trying to
go to town on each other.
Yeah. Daddy Magic and Saray are yelling at each other, trying to stop this shit, saying like, "Fucking handle this, handle your friend." They're trying to corral their friends, and then you had Sky Blue who's just trying to fucking win the match, which she evidently did, because she was the most focused on the goddamn match. But yeah, Sky Blue did win the match. and Ruby and Angelo, they further their story in this match. And I actually like how they're doing this because it's all basically to get people away from each other. So Garcia is getting away from Parker and Menard by being in the Continental Classic. Soraya, Soraya, the Outcasts are breaking up because obviously Tony's gone, but they're getting Ruby away from Soraya by getting her with Angelo. So they're basically killing two birds with one stone here, which I do like. But yeah, Sky Blue won the match. Not really surprised there. And yeah, pretty good stuff there. Also, after this, we had Wardlow in the back curling a fucking girder. And she's asking, why are you not going after MJF just yet? He's like, I'm gonna pick my spot. He's gonna pay on my time. And then AR Fox walks up. He's like, listen, I know what you're doing, man. This is what I did with Darby. It's like, you shouldn't be doing this. But Wardlow basically said, fuck that, and headbutts him. So that we're probably going to get Wardlow versus AR Fox. Wardlow's probably
Totally different set of circumstances between AR Fox and Wardlow.
Yeah, but Wardlow and AR Fox is probably gonna. That's probably gonna be Wardlow's first real match back.
Nah, he's gonna fucking dog walk
I
AR
don't. No,
Fox.
I don't think he's gonna completely murder him like a jobber, but I think he'll have like maybe like a 3-5 minute match. But yeah, we'll see that. But then after this, it was time for the main event. We didn't get really anything for Collision because we already had the announcements of the matches because they're basically all Continental Classic matches. And Rampage is on Saturday this week because it's live, I believe.
Yeah,
but
before
anyway,
Collision.
Yeah, but anyway, we had Mark Briscoe versus John Moxley in a first time ever matchup, and this was a great match. Mark Briscoe got color in this match. This is when they announced the leagues today. I was very excited to see Moxley and Briscoe in the same league because that's an appetizing match. I can't wait to see Mark Briscoe and Roosh, Mark Briscoe and Swerve, Mark Briscoe and Jay White again. Lethal again. Obviously, these are great matches. But yeah, these guys had their working shoes on. They paid for a long overrun for this. And yeah, this was a great match. There was a great near fall where Moxley hit a paradigm shift, then Death Rider, and Briscoe kicked out. Mox kicked out of a froggy bow, so they were kicking out of each other's finishes here. But the finish ended up coming from a Death Rider from Moxley. I thought Mark was actually going to win because obviously I've talked about shocking victories in round robin tournaments like this.
Yeah.
And I thought that's like Mark Briscoe would be a great person to beat Moxley, but obviously for the first night of block, it's usually predictable stuff. That's when you start to get kooky in the middle.
Mhm.
But yeah, they shook hands at the end, and they went off the air. It was a great match and great night of Continental Classic League action. And I will say this. One thing, the only critique about it I have, and I see this critique on Twitter as well, they need to be doing time calls, just like how they do in the G1 in New Japan. Because obviously in the G1 this year, it was the first year they lessened it to 20-minute time limits. And in the Continental Classic, it is going to be a 20-minute time limit. When you get to 10 minutes, they need to do a time call at least 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Because when they get, that's when it's like, okay. Because that's when the shit starts to get sped up.
They used to do that for every match back in the day.
When you hear a time call for 15 minutes, oh shit, there's 5 minutes left. That's when the drama happens for these G1 matches in the G1. But when the league, and that would really heighten the drama in the league match. It's like 5 minutes left. If I remember correctly, like AEW used to do that for every match. In the beginning they did. Yeah, in the beginning they did it a lot,
and it was really good. But all right, so the wrestler of the week for me, my wrestler of the week, I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna
Roddy
give it to Rouge.
Roddy just he didn't mean that.
He didn't mean that.
All right, but I guess I'll give mine. I'm gonna go with this week I'll give it to take a It's like a
Oh
look
my
see.
god, I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna go Swerve Strickland for his awesome
Nothing wrong with
show
that.
stealing match again at Full Gear, and another awesome match tonight.
Yep. I'm actually gonna go with Sky Blue. She's had a lot of improvement as of late. I like the new character and new edge to her. Hometown tonight, so no problem with that.
But, all right, guys, that will do it for today's show. We want to wish you a very happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving tomorrow. If you are celebrating, of course, in the States. But other than that, though, guys, we will see you next week for the for another episode. See ya.